In today's adventure of an episode, we're reading some more PettyRevenge. Been a while since we've been on here and it's going to be so fun. I hope you guys are excited. And with that being said, enjoy guys. Continuously kick my seat on a flight, get your belongings soaked. This happened a few years ago when I was flying to Canada for a trip. Midway through the flight, I was awakened by the person behind kicking my seat. I thought it was a kid, so I ignored it. After a few minutes of non-stop kicking, I turned around and I saw that it was a guy in his mid-20s. I asked him politely to stop, but I could hear him and his friends snickering, saying something in a language I don't understand. He stopped for a moment, but restarted. So I took my water bottle and I slowly emptied half of it on top of his backpack that was under my seat. I heard him freak out when we landed and it was satisfying AF. Wow, good on you, OP. That's so funny. I'm so bloody happy you did this. And they deserve it. It's not like they don't. Like, oh, haha, I'm gonna kick the back of your seat the whole time. How lame is that? And that's such a good revenge. Like, oh no, is your stuff all wet? What a shame. Hell yeah, OP. Beautiful start to the episode. A woman with long hair in my husband's lap. I went with my husband and parents to see a theatre performance years ago. A small budget thing in a small theatre. The seating was very tight for tall people, but we made the best of it. The issue was the woman sitting in front of my husband with long hair that went to her thighs. When she sat down, she put her hair over the chair and into my very tall husband's lap. He had zero leg room, so anything over the chair was coming into his lap. We thought it was unintentional at first. Nope. He politely asked her to move it, and she refused. He then kind of plopped it on the floor beside him. With this, she stood up and proceeded to make a scene witnessed by pretty much everybody. As she sat back down, she threw her head and her hair in a way that hit him in the face. My husband gave up too easily. I should have known. I was paying attention to the play. It wasn't until the end that I realized my husband discreetly spent the entire play nodding her hair. Oh, that's so good. Nothing that would need to be cut out, but it would take her a while to undo. He'd been braiding and knotting her hair from the bottom up. Definitely not stylish. A thick knot, a mini braid between two knots, another thick knot, a thick knot, a mini braid between two knots, a thick knot, a mini braid rolled into a knot, etc. Thick Boy Scout knots basically. Over a foot of them. She hadn't even noticed. My dad saw it and patted my husband on the back. Nobody said a word. Probably took her a few hours to get the knots out. I'm sure the story that she tells is a very different version, and I'm sure she's the innocent victim in her version. I would have felt sorry for her if it hadn't have been for her attitude. Anyway, I figured that my husband came out ahead on that one. That is so funny. The bloody audacity to put all of their hair behind the chair. Like, what are you doing? Keep it on your side of the chair. That's so rude, and the fact that they even did it in the first place is bad enough. But then to refuse to move it and be rude to you guys, yeah, your husband did the right thing. Guy stealing my parking spot when I was pregnant. When I was at the end of my pregnancy with my son, a guy kept parking in my designated parking spot in front of my townhouse. I'd have to drive around the neighborhood and find a guest spot far from my house and then walk to my house in the summer heat. I never saw him, but I left notes on his car asking him not to park there. Nonetheless, he kept on doing it. One day I was so fed up and pissed about it that I marched my 8-month pregnant self outside with a screwdriver, removed his number plates, and I threw them in the trash so that he'd get pulled over later and or have to spend the day at the DMV getting new ones. And that was the last time he parked there. Wow, this is such a beautiful subreddit. I did not see that coming. Hell yeah, OP. And so bloody rude. Who keeps on parking somewhere when they've been asked to not park there? Like they're choosing to be an a-hole. Yeah, good job, OP. Boss went back on their word. Manager backstabbed me, so I helped get their store shut down. A few years ago, I got hired on as a general manager for a small corporate chain specializing in ice cream. They weren't doing well as the pandemic had just ended and they needed somebody to boost their sales. I was hired on the promise that once I doubled the sales of the store, I'd get a substantial pay rise. I hit that goal 5 months into the job. During my 6-month evaluation, I was given a small raise, not even half of what they promised me. I was told the store was still catching up, so they couldn't afford the raise they'd previously quoted me. If the store continued on its upward track, I'd get my raise at my 1-year evaluation. Yeah, nah. I started looking for other jobs and I stopped going above and beyond in my duties. The assistant manager I'd hired noticed and took up the mantle, secretly going to my boss to get my job. After a month it worked. They were going to demote me and then promote her to GM before I quit. A few months later, a friend sent me a screenshot of a post on Facebook where a girl was warning people not to work at that shop because they won't pay you. I reached out to her. I found out she hadn't been paid for a week's worth of work and the GM, my old AM, wouldn't do anything about it. The corporate number wasn't publicly listed, but I still had it saved in some emails, so I gave it to her and I told her she ought to let corporate know what's going on in that store. The store was shut down by the end of the next week. It was shut for a month before having a grand reopening with new owners and new management. I got revenge in a two birds, one stone kind of way. That's so awesome and also kind of wholesome at the same time. And like the top comment says, wow, amazing revenge. Props to you for sticking up for yourself and those who were mistreated. Yeah, that's awesome. Good job, OP. Revenge on a rude waiter. I just bought a hotel room and I was informed the room came with a free breakfast for two. I came downstairs in the morning and as soon as I entered the breakfast area, the server gave me a dirty look and literally yelled, "What do you want?" I told him about the comped breakfast and he said that I had to leave without explaining I needed a coupon that came with the key card for the room. After I found this out from the front desk, I came back and I gave him the coupon. He then said that he wouldn't serve me breakfast because there needed to be two people. Again, I had to leave to get my brother and come back. He then proceeded to take our order. One breakfast for me and one to go so my brother could go back to sleep. My brother leaves. The server then proceeds to not even offer me water or check on me at all, while attending to the only other people in the breakfast area sitting right in front of me. Finally, somebody else brings out my food. I eat. When it comes time to leave a tip, I write a big fat 0 on the check and I proceed to walk over to the food runner that brought me the food and hand him a $20 bill. The look on the rude server's face is priceless. Yeah, like the top comment says, I love that you tipped the other guy because now the rude waiter can't just convince himself that you're a non-tipping a-hole. Yeah, exactly. This is because you were super rude and hopefully they realize that. It's bad enough when a random stranger is rude for no reason, but if you work in a place like this where you're working with other people, why are you being so cold and rude to everybody? And then what, they're surprised when they don't get a tip? Come on. I made her get ready for a concert that I wasn't taking her to. Hey guys, first time posting here. A woman said she was interested in me. We went out twice and then I invited her to a Christmas concert. She agreed to come around 5 days before the concert and then stopped answering until the morning of the concert. I followed up with her twice to confirm whether she was going to come. Since she was being so quiet, all she answered that morning was yes. Concert time comes and she was a no-show. Ended up excusing herself at 8:30 p.m. The concert was at 8. Her excuse was that she was too exhausted to go, but posted an Instagram story later that night at a popular hangout spot. I decided to let it slide and we planned to hang out 2 weekends later. Another concert and the same thing. She agrees to go and then stays silent until the concert day, confirms that she'll go in the morning and then cancels 20 minutes before the concert. I ended up going with a neighbor to avoid going alone. I encounter her the following weekend at a hangout. She texts me if I'll be around. I respond and she stops replying. I see her an hour later with a different guy. There was another concert recently and she'd posted that she wanted to go. I think she posted knowing that I'd see it since I get free tickets for certain concerts. I invited her to the concert and then cancelled on her right before she was about to head to the stadium. Am I an a-hole? Did I go too far? No, definitely not, OP. That's so awful of them and I feel like you didn't go too far at all. Yeah, like this comment says, you cancelled too soon, dude. She deserved to get all the way there, wait 30 minutes for you, just to find out that you blocked it already. Yeah, definitely. And OP commented, I did go with somebody else. I had a great time and I posted videos of the concert on my social media. No videos of the date though, as I thought that would have been too far, lol. I did consider letting her arrive before cancelling, but I thought that'd be too far as well. I like this one. You got a bit of petty revenge, but you stopped and you didn't go too far. Although I don't feel like that would have been too far. But you were satisfied. You didn't need to do any more. These stories are so fun to read. Housemate wants me to remove my stuff from the bathroom for her party. Okay. My housemate from whom I've been renting a room for 3 months is having a party today. Apparently she decided the idea of inviting me to attend said party was utterly unacceptable. So a few days ago she sent me a truly lol-worthy text message recommending for my happiness and yours. Yeah, that was how she phrased it. That I pick up a shift at work or go out with my friends today. She also included a long list of other recommendations, including locking my cats in my bedroom. Yeah, all day. Taking my coffee maker and dish towels out of the kitchen and removing to my bedroom any of my possessions that were in the shared bathroom if I don't want people to touch them. She phrased it that way because I've asked her not to keep messing with my stuff, which I'm absolutely not allowed to call my bathroom even though I'm the only one using it 99% of the time. Considering that she didn't have the decency to ask and has been a royal pain in the ass recently, including waking me up at 1 a.m. Tuesday night when I had to be up at 5 a.m. for work, and then not only not apologizing, but acting like she was the wounded party and calling me rude for asking her to keep it down. I chose not to comply with most of her recommendations. Unsurprisingly, this led to an argument this morning when she pointedly asked me what my time frame was for today, and I told her I was spending my day off in my room relaxing. not out on the streets all day. She kept up the argument for nearly an hour until her buddy showed up to help her set up. Well, I did take a little petty revenge by following one of her recommendations. I took all of my toilet paper and bathroom wipes that I paid for out of the bathroom. And wouldn't you know, when she found out, she got all huffy and said, "You took the toilet paper out of the bathroom?" As if I'd stolen it or something. I advised her that it wasn't my job to pay for toilet paper for a party that I'm not even invited to. Seriously, I'm unwelcome at her party, but she thinks I'm going to let her guests wipe their butt with good toilet paper that I paid for? How about no? She should be grateful I told her before the party instead of letting one of her buddies discover the issue for themselves. I should add, the aforementioned shared bathroom is on the 3rd floor, while the party is on the lower 2 floors, and there's a bathroom on the 2nd floor they can use. In the nearly 4 hours the party has been going on, I think somebody has been up to use it one time. P.S. And because I know some of you will likely ask, I have not given her any reason to exclude me. The only reason she gave me is that I asked her on a few occasions in the past to turn her music down. Frankly, I think the real reason is that she's a snob who thinks I'm beneath her because I make less money than her. Oh, that sucks. I hope you can get out of there sometime soon. You not living with this person would be so good. They sound like a huge pain in the ass of a roommate, and the fact that they feel like they can treat you like this because you make less money, that is so gross. Well, there you go. Like these comments say, it's funny that she looks down on you for making less money when she can't afford her home without you. And then OP says, exactly, her hypocrisy lately has gone from low-grade annoying to outrageous. And fun fact, I recently got a better job and I'm making more money, which had her thrown for the last few days. She'd actually started being a little bit nicer until her little tantrum this morning, since she only knows my financial situation is better, but not by how much. I'm thinking about requesting some information about local luxury housing and make sure that she sees it, and then make sure you get out of there, OP. They sound like such a toxic person to live with. I never said it was my truck. I live in a city and to save money, I don't own a car. Sometimes it's inconvenient, but mostly the subway and buses get me where I need to go. For groceries, there's a big grocery chain just a few blocks away. So I'm leaving the grocery store one day, a bag in my arm and another in a small backpack. I'm walking through the parking lot on the way home and this lady steps out in front of me and starts yelling that I parked my truck too close to her car. I look next to her and a little orange hatchback is parked with the driver's side right up against the white line, and next to it is a large white pickup with its passenger side also right up against the white line. Each vehicle was within its proper spot, but with only a little bit more than the width of the line painted on the pavement separating them. As I'm looking at the situation and trying to figure out what's going on, this woman is yelling at me, calling a short little crap and demanding that I move my truck. Wow, that's so awful. Now, I know I'm short. I've been teased about it enough. No big deal. I'm also aware when some bully's having a tough day and wants to abuse somebody, they don't tend to challenge the biggest dude around. They pick on somebody who looks easier to abuse. Still, every now and then, I don't have the patience for such nonsense. I decided to push back. I know it wasn't my truck, but I wasn't going to tell her that. So I said, I'll park however I like and I'm not moving that truck. She kept on yelling and mocking me and I continued to refuse to move the truck. Anyhow, while this is happening, a dude walks past, tosses something in the back of the truck, climbs in and starts pulling out. She does a double take and then seems lost for words. As the truck pulls away, I say, I never said it was my truck. Then I continue on my way through the parking lot, headed home. Oh, some people can be so awful. Like, why did they need to be so bloody rude to you? Ew. I'm sorry you had to deal with that, OP. So unnecessary. But yeah, even though the other person was being bloody awful, you handled that so well, OP. And that was so funny. Like, you weren't lying either. You weren't gonna move the truck. It wasn't yours, but you weren't lying. Annoying food thief eats a hot pepper. While working at the office, I'd usually always put my lunch in the office fridge. But of course, annoyingly, it'd always get stolen. So one day while shopping out at Safeway, I noticed that they were selling habanero peppers. This, of course, gave me the ultimate plan for revenge. The next morning, I prepared an excellent chicken burrito that was mainly filled to the brim with hot pepper. Then while working, I had one of my co-workers cough non-stop. So I immediately went to the fridge to check if it were gone. And there I found that it was him that had done it. He immediately threw up right after while I was chunking, not even feeling an ounce of remorse. Yeah, and fair enough as well. Don't eat somebody else's food. Oh, that's so annoying. Like, oh yeah, somebody else brought in a burrito. I suppose I'll eat it. No, okay? Get out of here. Also, what did they say after this? Was there much of a conversation after? Because surely they seen something like this coming. It's 100% a mess around and find out situation. Farted in a kid's face at the inflatable park. I'll keep it short and sweet. I took my 2.5-year-old girl to our local indoor inflatable park. She was so happy jumping around just being a kid. As she climbed the steps up to the top of the slide, here comes a 6 or 7-year-old barreling up the steps as well. He pushes pushes her out of the way and she falls face first down the steps and begins to cry. I knew that we'd have to seek revenge as a father-daughter team, so I swiftly snatched her up and we began to ascend the 10 to 15 steps up to the top. As my stomach rumbled, I realized we had timed it perfect. The kid who knocked my pride and joy down was once again barreling up the steps behind us, only this time to be met with a ferocious mud cloud, concocted by none other than yours truly. At last, victory was ours and we were redeemed. The kid shouted, "Ew, something smells like poop," and I sobbed laughing. My daughter and I went down the slide together and victory was ours. That is so funny and such a beautiful, wholesome story. Not so much for the kid who got their face farted on, but they deserved it. Dressed overly casual at a designer store so that the rude sales rep wouldn't get a commission. I don't typically buy a lot of designer clothing, but when I do go shopping, I dress pretty casually. Last week I was strolling through the mall and there was a designer backpack on display that caught my attention. I went inside the store, wearing a hoodie and ripped jeans, and I went to inquire about the price of the backpack. I waited around 10 minutes for somebody to help me until I decided to go up to one of the sales representatives myself. She told me to wait because she was helping another customer, so I sat down and I waited. I saw her in the corner of the store just standing, not doing anything. I decided to wait another 5 minutes for her to come back, but she never did. I walked back up to her and I told her I wanted to inquire about the backpack. I asked her if she could bring one from the back room so I could take a closer look at it. She told me that she wouldn't be able to do that unless I was planning on purchasing the item. She seemed annoyed with my request. Before I could even say anything else, she walked away to help another customer. I'm quite young, 25 female, and I could tell she didn't think I was serious about purchasing it and didn't want to waste her time. I would have actually purchased it then and there if she hadn't have been so dismissive. A few days later, I went back into the store. This time I made sure to dress even more casually than before. I walked in with a pair of sweatpants, running shoes, a tank top, and a zip up. The same lady was working there that day and turned her back to me as soon as I walked in. I went up to one of the other sales representatives. This guy was younger, smiling, and seemed eager to help, and I told him I wanted to purchase the backpack, and he gladly went inside and got it for me. He even asked if I'd like to take a look at it before buying. I thanked him and he checked me out. The store manager was also by the cashier, and I let him know that I came in last week and that the lady wouldn't even let me see the product before purchasing it. He was upset to hear this and told me this wasn't the first time he'd received a complaint about her. The item was a few grand and all the commission went towards the junior. He was so kind and grateful. She avoided eye contact with me after she got told off by her manager, and I smiled at her as I walked out of the store. Don't judge a book by its cover. Yeah, that sucks. And also, why would they? Like, surely they realize that what you wear is irrelevant. Places like that would get people like this all the time. What's their issue? That's so rude. And for the other person to say that they've also had more complaints about them, like, why are they still acting like that? It's a pretty easy fix. Don't be an a-hole to customers. Ew, that makes me mad. I hate people like this. Good on you though, OP. The top comment says, I used to work in a music shop in the mid-90s. My department was electronic music, so I was selling keyboards and mixers and software, that sort of thing. One slow day, this older dude comes in. Long, straggly hair, singlet, beat-up cargo shorts. They looked like they'd seen better days. And flip-flops. The guitar sales team were all messing around in the amp room and were uninterested in helping this guy. Now, I don't play guitar, but I knew a fair bit about him, and I don't mind a chat, so I got talking with him. I helped him choose several different guitars to try based on his style, including a $7,000 vintage Fender. I wasn't expecting anything to come off it, but after a few minutes of playing, he decided that he liked the Fender, and we rang up the deal, which he had zero trouble paying for. I got my fat commission, but also got reprimanded for selling outside of my department. Yeah, I don't understand why in this day and age there are people acting like this to customers. Like, if you're going to be judgmental and rude to every customer that you think can't afford something, you shouldn't even have a job where you can treat customers like that. Put somebody in that position who's going to be kind. Oh, that's so frustrating. And on that note, I feel like we should read some wholesome memes. That was a beautiful episode, guys, and I hope you had a wonderful time. And also, let me know down below what you want to see next. Dad's note to gay son that hasn't come out yet. I overheard your phone conversation with Mike last night about your plans to come out to me. The only thing I need you to plan is to bring home OJ and bread after class. We're out, like you now. I've known you were gay since you were 6. I've loved you since you were born. From Dad. P.S. Your mum and I do think that you and Mike make a pretty cute couple. Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, wow, that's bloody beautiful. The top comment says, just to clarify, get us that bloody OJ and bread, you hear me? But yeah, for real, that's amazing. Our pizza delivery guy took more than 30 minutes, but I feel like I can forgive him. So cute. I feel like we've read this one before, but it doesn't matter. Look at the beautiful puppy dog. Beautiful puppy dog and pizza. Amazing. The eye of answers. I am eternal. I know all and see all. You may ask one question, but if somebody has asked it before, I'll destroy you. How are you? It's just so lonely down here, you know? That sucks, man. Oh, that's so beautiful. But how are you doing, okay? The start of a beautiful friendship. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time. And if you did and you want to see more Petty Revenge, make sure you like and subscribe. And the comment of the day today goes to Alexis. I've become addicted to listening to these videos during my 8-hour shift. Feeding caterpillars. Great work as always. Wow, feeding caterpillars? Interesting. I didn't expect to read that today, but I'm so happy I did. That sounds like a super fun job. And thank you for the support. It means so much to me. I'm glad the videos keep you entertained. Okay, I'm out of here. Thanks again for all the support, guys. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!